Michael Brown was what, about 8 years ago or something?
Maybe around 6 years.
6, 7, 8 years. It was a while back. Sakina was in high school. She was out of college. Okay. Probably about 6 years. The point is, this is when things start changing in a big way with white students. Because they start saying, is this really? I mean, you got to remember, they're just going to school, and the most numerous kids now, from what I hear, is mixed race children, right? You can't watch a TV commercial without a Negro here, the white girl here, the white girl there, the Negro, right? It's common. They accept it as there. It's not a big deal. Why they are, what's so wrong about it? They can't remember 15 years back, 30 years ago, they wasn't born. To them, 30 years ago was a long, long time ago, back in history, right? Before they were born, right? So to get back before I was born, you have to go back into the early 1940s. But it still seems things move so slow, it still seems like he was there almost. The point is this, is that things progress and then they meet a critical mass, where the things that are happening are associating with others, and now there's a big transformation going on. Okay, for us, right here in America, we always wanted this to happen, and that now it's right there in front of our face, to affect America, right? The whole of America. So, the time is to change the system from within. Non-verbal, when it says non-verbalized commitment to justice and human improvement. In other words, the purpose for people who are joining the military now would be obvious reasons. The purpose for joining police departments en masse, even if you can harm, even if there's 25% of the people who are in tune with what's really going on, that means you have a critical mass of people, right? And Negroes join the system anyway. The Negroes, a Negro manager, they don't usually go down Wall Street, right? You see the Negroes downtown or over town or wherever they are. Negroes get a government job because it's safe, right? Negroes, you don't want to take too many chances, hey. So I could get a middle class job that's at the top of the scale. If you have college education and you have a ton of people in police departments, in sheriff's department, you're going to have a semi-cream of the crop. So people taking lieutenant's tests, sergeant's tests, right? And all of that will eventually move up to the top, right? Because they know how to take tests. And you don't get all the promotion now by how much time you own the department, right? You get some of it, but a lot of it is by promotion, is by who takes the test and do best in the test. Because they done went crazy and they think that you got management skill, you got the language, you got to think about it. That was a time when this would have been verboten, but now the time is critical. On literally level, number one, to save the lives of your family and your children. Not only weapons training and understanding the law that you're doing, right? But it's to fit in with a situation that we have at this time. This time has produced that. That was a time when they said, don't join the CIA because you're going to go over there. Now join. Might as well. You got all the dummies joining, so the smart ones just got a plan. A nonverbal plan. It's not something you talk about. It's something if you had to pass a lie detector test, you could easily say, with a strong-hearted brain, I'm here to help institute the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Maryland. And what would the lie detector test say? True, true, because it's true, right? It's true. Okay. If we don't do this in another few years, the criminal white boys that can kill the Negro at any time, right? And nothing happens. Out of all the people shot, they had the poor boy that just shot down in Carolina the other day. Hey, no, we're not going to. What the heck? They don't have to, because they're the police. The point is, critical mass. If you get enough people in the police department, and they're there to do certain things, if they're a super minority, they gotta cooperate with it. They get beaten the nigga upside the head, then they have to beat him too. But if they're 10%, they're 20%, you can't do nothing to them. Why? Because they all say, well, we're just here to do a certain job. Now, a lot of people look at the police different. Okay, I look at police as human beings. I didn't bring the picture, but if you saw the picture of me being arrested in Oakland, there's no black people on any of the pictures. There's no black people been involved in any arrest. Out of 8 or 10 arrests at the Masjid, there's no black policemen. Only white policemen and Mexicans. Because Mexicans, they don't know about anything. In California, right? Or the old days. The last demonstration I was at was for Geronimo Pratt. One of the undercover policemen just eased up to me, just walking slowly. And this has happened before. Hey man, we're proud of you, you know, because they ain't never seen it. They do this. They're infiltrators, they're saboteurs. That's what they do. They ain't never seen it before. Somebody that did what we do and was serious about it and was in something that was harmful for the people, and now totally the other side. They say, that's why on arrest, no black police. No, you ain't got none. You only have white people who are part of that racist crew, right? And Mexicans that don't know nothing about what's going on, right? They just happen to be on the police department because they're a citizen. Okay. When you get some of them by themselves for a long time and you talk about the Treaty of Hidalgo, the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, they look up in there and look around, but they know what you're talking about. that I say, kids, that's all this. Is Mexico del Norte? Is that where we are? In California. That's northern, old time, northern Mexico. So is Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and all of that. All them states. That was northern Mexico before the U.S. took it. So you can, the point I'm making is, I'll try to accelerate. We have to pick up what we're doing, and we have to modernize it. We also have to defend ourselves. In order to, if you have 5 Negro police and they're all armed kind of specialists, right? And they own 5 or 10 arms, like the white people do. What would happen in the future? If there's a group of people trying to ignite race relations in the United States, anybody ever heard of the Turner Diaries? Turner Diaries, the race relations stuff, the stuff that all these phony, the great race war theory of white folks attacking black folks and and vice versa inside of America. That comes from a scheme. Timothy McVeigh and all those guys are supposed to be part of those crews. The Turner Diaries are writings about the coming race war in America. Okay. Some of that is not going to work, but some of it is working right in front of our faces. We got a mass of white folks that are already convinced, right? I mean, it's a whole crew of white folks that's convinced about these QAnon, whatever they call themselves, right? All that stuff.
That they're going to be the minority in 2030.
Hey, look, by then, hey, so goes California, so goes America. Technically, they're already a minority in California. Right, folks? Now, a lot of them not paying attention to it. All the white kids going to school with Negroes and eating water rice. What the heck? Who cares about who's the population, right? I mean, and half of them now, the mixed kids, the mixed kids, what can they do? Right? America has gone, just the thing that the old white folks said, they're going to mongrelize the race. And one white man, he said, there's 3 things you can't give a nigga. A black eye, a job, you can't give a nigga, and a fat lip. 3 things you can't give a nigga is clam quarter. 3 things you can't give a nigga: a fat lip, a big lip, a black eye, and a job. Boy, these white now, I'm telling you, they make it. Anyway, those people, remember the power of organization. If all of those people are weaponized, and it's enough of them, right? Weaponized and organized, they can just walk all over us.
And they've definitely been trained because they've been over in Iraq and
everywhere. They've been everywhere. Right. But you want to have your people everywhere. You want to have them in the army in huge numbers. So if anything happened, One thing, a guy look around, and there's enough racism still in the Army that you get the idea, right? That when everybody start forming sides, you're gonna look around and you're gonna go across the color line. If you go in the military now and you got blacks over here, what about the later on, hopefully, conscious Mexicans? You gotta remember, does anybody remember the brown berets and the what's the name? The Lords. Young Lords up in New York, Puerto Ricans. You gotta remember, Latin Puerto Ricans, a lot of people, I mean Latinas and Latinos who are black, they get the same treatment. Yeah. Okay, the point is this. This is not a game. This is big numbers, and this is your wives and your children and your grandchildren and everybody, because they're not thinking about nothing. And it's your job to make sure that they get protected. And we don't want to do like some of the people that were extinct. Remember, if they cut loose and they have most of the weapons and know how to use them, hey, where's your defenses? You have to be able to defend your own community. And the way you learn that and the way you understand that and the way you keep them in check is that you're right in there with them. So after 5 or 10 years, when you're 20% of police departments, when you have a mixture and you're 20, 25, 30% of the military, you mix blacks and Mexicans together, you're going to have huge numbers. If you keep it in check, you're able to keep it in check. You can't trust the monster to be good. I'm sorry. If you do, you're a crackpot. If you trust boss man to be nice and fair and friendly, and this whole system is on the line, you need to, that's insanity. That is crazy. Okay, I'm gonna speed up. High performance Negroes in all areas. That means a high performance Negro, that means college grads, that means everybody, at every test you take, you move up to the top. And when you're moving up to the top, you're able to look out for other Negroes that are not as bright. Some of the dummies might have joined to beat people upside their head, but if you're elevating to sergeants and lieutenants in 10 years from now, right? So that's what we got a plan for. Where is this thing going in the next 10 years? We got to look out for ourselves. And this is not before join the system to help the system. Join the system because that way they can't use the system against you. Yeah, they can't use the army against you. We're just celebrating, what was that, Black Wall Street 21 years ago? What did they use the National Guard for? Against niggas. And what in Detroit and everywhere else, what do they use the National Guard? What do they use all, when they bring the system in, the system is brought in against you. What if you have people who are educated and understand the history? But you don't have no Black history classes. You don't have to need that stuff. You don't have, this stuff is so prevalent now that everybody knows that. You don't have to teach a class on Black history, what the system is doing. You don't have to teach no class. They're doing it themselves. Right? That's what we're talking now is policy talk. with no negative connotations. We want to uphold the Constitution of the United States because now, I'm not talking about the application of the Constitution, but the Constitution guarantees Negroes enough to be safe and happy if he had constitutional rights, right? So if anybody asks you, I'm here to uphold the Constitution of the United States. Constitution doesn't allow you to shoot a nigga down. Let me shoot this nigga. Doesn't allow that, right? The Constitution, as written or as interpreted nowadays, can safeguard us in our rights and our safety. And you have to be in a position to be able to do it, where the cost of messing with you would be more than the system could bear. If you got 30%, just like minorities in the military, and they issue an order against that 30%, that means Mexicans and Negroes, right? That's 1 in 3. 1 in 3, not only on the lower levels, but I'm talking about in 10 years. In 10 years, after all of these tests, the Negroes has got to know how to take tests. They'll be the sergeants and the lieutenants. And some will be captains and on up. They won't be able to institute nothing without coming through you. Right? And no matter how far it goes, if you have to defend yourself block by block, you have the training in order to do it. And they won't. They won't, because you got to remember them too. Them, so it'll only be 20 or 30% of them. Right? With all the big weapons in America. And all those big weapons, look what happened with the Palestinians this last time. When you use that many weapons on people. I'm talking about a system that would not hesitate to use its technology